to Everyday Cooking. I'm Courtney Brooks, and today I'll be showing you how to make my own pound cake. It's a pound cake that I used to make for my mother-in-law, so let's get started. We're going to use butter. We have 3 sticks of butter here. We have 6 eggs, 3 cups of sugar, 3 cups of cake flour, our chocolate, because she loves chocolate in her pound cake, and we have our sour cream, our milk. So now we're going to get started. We're going to cream the butter and the sugar first. Then we're going to add in the eggs. So we're going to put in this 3 cups of sugar. And let's get started with that. Do it slow because you don't want to get that sugar all over the place. So you got real slow. You get a splash of sugar all over it. You see, hear my music playing, don't you? I love to listen to music. Dance around in the kitchen. Listen to all the music I want to listen to. So now we got the butter and the sugar together. It'll look like this here. Work together like this here, your butter and your sugar. We're going to add our eggs in, one at a time, and you're going to beat after each egg. You just want to make sure you get the egg in there, in real good. And then you just add the next egg in there. So making this pound cake is a little time consuming. You can put all the eggs in at once, but I don't like doing it that way because sometimes it doesn't just like puff up the way you want it to. So it's best to do it the way that I'm showing you. Because then you can incorporate your eggs real good. Alright. Definitely make sure you do it one at a time. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, like I said, you can add them all in at once. But you won't get that nice effect that you're looking for if you add it in all at once. So it's just best to add it the way that I'm doing it now. And it never, ever see. We got 2 more to go. Then you can, each time you put in your egg, you can like bring the mixer up, the speed up a little higher. Make sure you get all around your bowl. And make sure you incorporate all that egg into your batter. Okay, this is our last egg. Then after we add this egg and put all these in, okay, this is the last egg. So now we're really going to put this egg in here. And when you do this, you want to make sure your eggs and everything is at room temperature. You don't need your eggs cold. You don't want them cold because they be bad. Now see how that looks? See that looks bad? Look at that. After this, you're going to add in your flour mixture. I have cake flour. Sometimes cake flour comes self-rising cake flour, and you get some that you have to add some rise or baking powder to it. But this here, we already have. It has everything in it. You don't want to just dump it all in there. Add a little bit at a time because flour has a tendency to poof all over. So you don't want to like put it all in one because then you don't want to look like snow in your kitchen. So we'll put a little bit in. And I usually use the big mixer, but I wanted to show you exactly how I do it because the big mixer I would just pour it in and just turn it on real low. But you're going to turn this on low, or you can just take your mixer and just mix it in like this until you get it all in. Because should thicken up as you add your flour in. Like I said, you don't want to get flour all over you or your kitchen. And because you're going to be adding your sour cream and all of that. So you're going to add a little bit more. And then after you mix that in, you're going to add your remaining flour. And make sure you have your oven preheated on 350 because you're going to bake this for about an hour and 30-35 minutes, for this cake to get done. And you're going to put it in a 10-inch bundt cake pan. I'm going to start mixing it this way some to make sure I get all this flour, cake flour into my batter. See how the flour is coming out of the pan? That's why I say you have to mix it slow. You have to get all this flour from around the edge of your cake pan. So this is the last bit of the cake flour. You're going to make sure you get all your edges because you want to incorporate everything into your cake. So make sure you get your edges real good. You don't want to leave none of that out because you're going to be adding other stuff into this. You want to go slow because like I told you, you'll get flour all over. Then you can put in your sour cream. You're going to put in a cup of sour cream. That's all you need, just a cup. If it's still, it might look too thin, and sometimes it might look too thick, but it's really not. So just make sure you only put in a cup of sour cream. I'm not going to dip it out with that because I got cake, so I have to get a spoon. Because I don't want to mix put the cake batter into my spoon. So I'm going to measure out a cup. You notice everything is at room temperature, and by it being at room temperature, it's easy to come out. Otherwise you'd be trying to dig it out, and to make sure you get just that cup full. You also, I don't have it out, you're also going to put a little bit of vanilla extract into your batter as well. I'm going to have to get that, but I'm going to do this first. Notice it, I'm doing it slow because I don't want to splatter it all over. And you can also overbeat your cakes, and you can overbeat the cake as well as not beating it enough. You can overbeat it, and then it won't come. It'll be like half done cake, and it won't come out the way you want it to come out. So you have to be careful about how you beat your cake. I'm going to get the vanilla. And then I'm going to put the vanilla extract into the cake. And then once I do that, we'll be done. And we'll put it in our pan and we'll fold in the chocolate that I have. Let me get the vanilla. I'm going to use the same spoon. You only need about a teaspoon of vanilla. In here. You don't need a lot of vanilla. Just a teaspoon is enough. Because you can put too much vanilla and then, to me it will have a funny taste. Now we're going to beat this on high. About maybe a minute, 2 minutes. Okay. this is what it should look like. That looks gorgeous.
Which is scarier, being on a racetrack with
Heaters. Let me move this out my way. Heaters over this thing. Now, I'll let you see what it looks like. Look at this. Doesn't that look gorgeous? This is your batter for your cake. This is how it should look. If it's too thick, then it's not right. I have some milk over here. I'm going to put a little bit of milk in here. Just a little, because I want, sometimes you might use like a half cup or a cup. I'm always putting just a little bit of milk into my cake batter. I do it this way instead of beating it in, because I don't want to overbeat my batter. So this way it'll be better. Now it's time for me to fold in my chocolate. Once I fold in my chocolate, then it'll be ready to put into my cake pan. So the chocolate I don't measure. You know, I don't measure my chocolate. I just like squeeze the amount that I would want. So, which it probably end up about maybe a half a cup time I squeeze it in there. You know, just go like 1, 2, you know, you got a half a cup. If you do 3, 4, you probably got a cup, because it's going to come out real fast because it's thin, because you got it at room temperature. Let's just put it in there. Okay, that's how I do it. I always made this cake for my mother-in-law. She loves this cake. I mean, she wasn't a chocolate cake eater, but for some reason she liked this cake here. I don't fold it, try to fold it in too much, because see that, doesn't that look gorgeous? And when you put it in your pan, you just want it to look good. Now, you need a 10-inch bundt cake pan, or 2 10-inch, or 2 10-inch, 9-inch round cake pan. Non-stick. If you don't have non-stick, then you know you have to butter or grease your cake pan and then flour it. But if you have a non-stick cake pan, you want to still always, you can spray it with your pan. You know, get the pan and use that the other one with the butter flavor cake. And just spray it a little bit. Just so even though they're non-stick, you still want to spray them. Just a little. Okay. Then you're going to put this cake batter into your pan. This is my simple pound cake. Now, I'm going to pour it in. It's going to go in just like that. And see how that chocolate is falling? Oh my goodness.
And there's a lot to celebrate, like the Jeep Grand Cherokee,
oh my
goodness, SUV ever, and a 2012 IIHS top safety pick, or the most capable Jeep Grand.
Oh, that looks good.
Improved performance and fuel economy, and with the 29 mpg highway Jeep Compass, the sky's the limit. So celebrate.
And you know, if you have kids around when you make this cake, you definitely, they're going to want you to leave cake batter into the cake pan. If they're like my grandkids, so when I was younger and I used to bake cakes, my brothers, I have 3 brothers, one passed away, but they used to fight over who's going to get the cake pan. You know, everybody wants the cake pan, so what I had to do is, one would get the cake pan this week, one would get the spoon, the other one would get the beaters. Then the next time when I bake a cake, then I had to go switch it around. Now I'm going to put this cake in the oven, make sure you put it in your center rack, and it's going to bake for an hour and 30 to 35 minutes. You're going to insert a toothpick in there or a cake inserter to see if it's done. If it comes out clean, you know your cake is done. If it's still wet, you just let it stay in there a little bit longer until it comes out clean. It's not going to hurt if it stays in over an hour and 35 minutes. You're going to see it's going to bubble up real nicely. It's going to break and all that sugar going to come to the top. And this is going to be all crackling and it's going to be good. So I'll let you see the finish in an hour and 35 minutes. Meantime, I'm going to clean this mess up. Okay, it has been an hour and 35 minutes, so we're going to check on our cake and see if it's done. If it is, we're going to pull it out and wait Let me see. The cake is done. Look at this. See, I told you the cake, when you make a pound cake, how I said it was going to be cracked all on the top. See this? It's cracked. And that's how it usually go. Sometimes it won't do this, but 9 out of 10, it will. Let's close this oven up. We're going to let this sit here for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to take it out of the pan so it can cool, so we can get it out of the pan. Then we're going to let it sit and cool the rest of the way, and we're going to pour a glaze over top of it. So meantime, while it's sitting and cooling, let me get ready to make our cake that's cooled. I done made the glaze for our cake. All we have to do now is just drizzle it all over the top. It's going to run all down the sides and all in the middle, but that's okay. You still want to put all that glaze in. And I try to get all the glaze in the cracks of the cake. So I just drizzled in there first. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Then after I do it that way, then I just drizzle it all around the cake. Just let it fall all down. And you can make any kind of icing or glaze, as I call it, that you want. Any kind. You can make orange glaze, chocolate glaze, vanilla. You just basically want it to just drizzle all over your cake. It's not going to stay on there because of the consistency that it is. But you basically want it, it's going to harden up a little bit. It's just going to make it shine around your cake. But if you want it a little thicker, you add whatever you use, you add a little less. Like if you use lemon juice, you add a little less. If you use orange juice, you add a little less. If you use water, just add a little less. The thinner it gets, the more water or juice that you add. See how I just went all around the side? Just pick it back up, put it back on there, and it's going to just drizzle right on back down. And you have your perfect pound cake with some cherry glaze topping. I hope you enjoyed this show today on how to make my pound cake that I used to make for my mother-in-law, and I call it the mother-in-law pound cake. Try this recipe and see how you'll like it. That's on Everyday Cooking with Spartan Brooks. Have a nice night.